So yeah, Lead Scotland, Linking Education and Disability. We provide disabled people and carers with a blend of face-to-face and remote adult learning opportunities. Pre-COVID, 100% of our work, really, our learning services and befriending, were face-to-face. 54% of our frontline learning services were delivered actually in a person's own home. So people weren't always coming to us, we were going to them. We obviously made that decision to pivot overnight and be remote because we couldn't, so many risk factors being in someone's own home or in those small unregulated community spaces that we couldn't continue in that way. So making the pivot took that away, being able to be beside somebody physically. But really with reflection, the service didn't change and it was still personalised. We just had a different context and we had different cues. So people were creative. How do you find that way? You know, people became creative and thought, well, what have you got? Right, you've got a phone. Okay, what kind of phone? Right, what have you? So what is it? Where's your starting place? So you find the different contexts, the different cues, and you try and make it from there. But I think that challenge endured, not being able to see somebody, being able to pop round. What's on your screen? All these things were the immediate challenges. Another key challenge was that some people we supported were reported feeling very isolated and lonely and afraid, actually. There was one learner at the very start of the pandemic. She emailed me several times a day, literally saying how scared she was. Now, she had a trusted relationship with us, and I guess she was almost like looking for answers and think, well, digital's great, you can do this, because she's saying there's no way I'll engage with this, won't work for me. But of course people surprise you, and through a core trusted relationship, our learning coordinator, you know, she did make that transition from the telephone to using Zoom, which she did not think would be possible at all, and then started doing 2 qualifications through that. She also did some group Zooms, which she's still not totally comfortable with, but she'll do them. And she learned how to create a sort of online presentation. I think she might have used PowerPoint, but so she used an online presentation tool and gave a presentation to an audience via Zoom. Now, I remember those emails where she was literally using words like frightened, scared. Then she did this. She's very proud of herself, but you know, and rightly so. But it shows how, you know, some people made epic journeys. Somebody else might think, well, that wasn't a big thing. That took 9 months really for her to get that comfortable. So I guess trying to mitigate the fears that people had, and people who were also reporting to feel very lonely and isolated with it, and who were thinking they would have to pause everything. But you were dealing with that social emotional stuff as well. So they're not practical challenges. I think that the idea that people needed devices and data, we were able to, through Connecting Scotland, Digital Inclusion Fund, through grants, through people procuring, through family, whatever. In some ways you could get those practical, tangible tools. It's the emotional stuff, it's the practicalities of how you get somebody started. All those bits, they were the immediately presenting challenges. We're fortunate in that we are offering one-to-one personalised services. So we didn't have to go down the route of being organisation-centred by saying, this is the platform I use and that's it. We're able to say to somebody, well, what tools do you have just now? Okay, and they may change. So somebody who's using this phone now and who's saying there's no way I'll do it, and then they end up in a few months you getting a tablet. So you're trying to always inspire somebody to think about the potential that they could have and the other tools that they could use. But I guess we were able to flex the service from somebody's starting point, and that's been an advantage. So the staff have had the autonomy to work with people and think, right, WhatsApp, is that what you're using? Okay, or you know, whatever it is it Messenger? Is it, you know, is it going to be text-based? Is it going to be video? What operating system do you have? And who are you trying to contact? What's their system? But where's that person's starting point? What are they comfortable with? and using that familiar context to build trust, to build confidence, to build skills. So I think that key to success, to overcoming challenge, is being able to flex and remain person-centred. We've got a young carers befriending service, an adult befriending service, and it's each person who wants to come forward for that service will be matched one-to-one with a volunteer. During the pandemic, that's been tricky because we couldn't match people to go to cafes and things like that. Some people were doing it by email befriending, and some people were doing it by telephone, and some people were using video as well. And we had a variety of different mixes. Everybody was doing it differently, depending on what they wanted. And it's been good. And actually, we started to do a bit of telephone befriending before. There wasn't a massive appetite for it, but now there is. And of course, the advantage is most people have been geographically based. But during this time, we were recruiting volunteers from all over. We kind of did it in a targeted way. We kind of did it with who's paused their learning, who's at risk of disengaging. Right, let's offer the befriending service an alternative if somebody's. And so we had 72 people, learners, take it up. Many of the people we're supporting who come forward to use our service in some way may have felt left behind. And if we don't design the service with people at a variety of starting points, we risk of being left behind and excluded again. In 10 years' time, will we step back and think, could we have done more at this point to connect people with these new and emerging industries? Many disabled people use assistive technology to access the internet. That can still be an add-on because a lot of online spaces aren't accessible. So rather than that being an add-on, it would be great to think about accessibility from the start, the practicalities of that. I don't know what I still don't know, and if I'm making decisions about what we need to do in digital, then I've got a lot to learn, and so do our staff teams. We have to all keep learning as well, so that we've got a lot in our toolbox to offer folk with technology and realising the potential of it. My goodness, it's a fast-changing landscape, and how do we capitalise on AI, virtual reality? What are the opportunities here, and how do we realise them? And how do we have conversations and then, with people to make sure we're all on the journey together?